My brother divorced my cheating ex-sister-in-law, so she egged my truck. Part 6. Are we ready for the TLDR to get caught up?
I'm so freaking ready.
Let's do it.
Okay. OP was the ugly duckling in the family. Cast him out. Brother was a favorite. Ended up leaving right after high school. Years down the road, he was homeless. Parents wouldn't help him. Laughed at him. Built himself back up. Picked himself up by his bootstraps. Ended up buying a home from being homeless, basically, unhoused. Then parents tried to break in and basically steal and squat in the house. Didn't let it happen. They tried to ambush Christmas. Didn't let it happen. And then one more time, they had a dinner meeting. Didn't let it happen. He made sure that he kept all of his assets and money. Then, plot twist, the evil sister-in-law's brother's wife ended up cheating and having a kid with him that wasn't his. So they get divorced. The affair partner ends up leaving the sister-in-law. She spirals and goes crazy. But then the family comes back and apologizes. They build bonds. It seems to be all going well, like basically everything on the up and up. Now the sisters egged the car and possibly something dramatically worse. That is where we're at.
Getting an update now.
And maybe we'll come to full forgiveness, but we'll see. So, update. I asked around with some people on the street about cameras possibly seeing the person who egged my car. The responses ranged from, we don't have cameras, to, it was Halloween and people pull stupid pranks, let it go. Not OP. The few people who were helpful told me that I waited way too long to ask and the footage auto-deleted. Basically, the egger got away. But if it was sister-in-law, I'm guessing she would have to walk around half a mile in those sweats just to not get her car spotted on camera or something. It wouldn't surprise me if she questioned if it was worth the effort. Oh well, I guess I'll wait to see if the egger comes back next year. And there is an update, so we know there's more. I did hand out printed pictures of the egger though, and even stapled up a few posts. So now people in my neighborhood are aware, at least. The tenants renting out 2 rooms in my house have stayed out of it. And I don't really blame them. It's not their problem. We have another update coming up. While Riley's doing that, Sophia.
It's me. What's your question?
You know, usually I have a real question. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have a fake question?
Maybe I have a fake question.
Red herring question?
A little red herring.
Throw me off my track?
Do we think that the sister-in-law will actually go further off the deep end here?
I don't know. I mean,
I'm kind of changing my tune.
Oh, you don't think she will?
I believe that more so now.
I think she will. I think after an egging, I think it's only downhill.
That is true. Is it kind of the thing where she's like, okay, I can't do any of the real crazy stuff anymore, like try to take the house, so I'll just stick to my egging and maybe throw up some private Facebook posts, but
TP the house.
Yeah, is she kind of like
jazz.
cornered in, you know?
Yeah, maybe there's not anything crazy gonna happen, but just like little.
She keeps going, she doesn't stop, but she is crazy though.
It's crazy.
Like, what if she just doesn't care? Because she never cared in the past. I thought going into this part 6, this final episode of the series, that she would kind of get more intense, but I don't know. After reading this
ramping
part,
down, you think?
it feels like a ramp down to me. It feels like a ramp down.
We went from attacking people to egging their house. Kind of a letdown.
Right. You know, like at least deliver. You're supposed to be the surprise main villain in the series.
But maybe she's learned from going to jail.
Or she's, again, luring them into a false sense of security.
This is true. And then we haven't even talked about the rest of the family.
OP goes outside to like go, check out the egged car. She runs into his house, moves in.
That is a great plot twist. Oh my God. Update. Dan returned my camper, but I've also got a copycat that is stirring up drama. And reminder, the camper that Dan used to ridicule OP about, OP has lent back to him. So to start this off, I came back after all this time to find 500 messages in my inbox and 130 unanswered personal messages. Please don't personal message me anymore. There's just too many to answer. So if you PM'd me and I clicked ignore, I'm sorry. Just know that's why. It's not personal, even though it's a personal message. I just felt too overwhelmed to reply to so many, but that's not what brought me back to Reddit.
What brought you back?
Ladies and gentlemen, I decided to stay away at least a year because my posts were not exactly boosting family morale.
You know what? Why OP's the real a-hole of this story?
Ooh, talk to me.
He wasn't doing it on TikTok. He could have been monetizing this the whole time, making his family a bunch of money, doing whole long parts of each story. He doesn't even he could take it from Reddit and then literally he doesn't even have to talk. He could just have Minecraft playing in the background.
Just go, yeah.
Like AI voice.
Maybe get his own animator eventually. His own animated series.
And the whole thing is just called Just Do It for Dan. That is the only thing that this TikTok does. It just talks about his life.
So Opie says, I didn't log in for quite some time, But the other day, my brother Dan spotted a video which was unbelievably similar to mine in far too many ways. Only it was about an OP with a twin sister instead of sister-in-law, but it had so much of the same stuff in there. Entitled narcissistic parents, guy treated like crap all his life and then rendered homeless, golden child sibling, keeping the favoritism a closely guarded secret from family while the OP was growing up, sister still in her 20s, has 3 kids and was pregnant with the 4th, sister's eldest son attacks OP, and above all of them trying to steal OP's house by breaking in while he wasn't home. So many parts were nearly identical. Even 2 lines like "suck it up" and "my house is not up for grabs" were in the video. Are we now getting into like a content creator beef?
I think so.
Probably.
Oh, wow.
This is what I
Curveball.
wanted.
Curveball.
Because you can monetize it on Reddit, but if you, let's say, if you do what this person's doing and you're getting views,
This is
Yeah.
true.
which
This
they
is true.
didn't diversify like their content.
Come on, man. Well, my parents and brother are frankly pissed, and I wasn't happy seeing the video either. We've all been trying hard to get past a previous family drama and what ex-sister-in-law put us all through. You can imagine it took a lot for me to let go of my grudges. Absolutely. But in a year, my parents and Dan have improved more than I'd seen in my entire life before that. And I love my nibblings to pieces. That's like an actual word for like your
Yeah.
nephews and nieces, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So whoever wrote that copycat story, congratulations. You've just sent my therapy. You've just sent my therapy right back to family. You've just sent my family right back to therapy. Boom, I got it.
What did that copycat
I'm a
story
winner.
do?
Dude, right? And yes, my family is aware that I'm making this post. Now with that rant over, here's what I hope to be my final update. But Riley, it's not, right?
This, and then he has like some relevant comments
Yeah,
to
so
kind
this
of
is
update
Okay.
stuff.
The
All right.
final update.
Now for what was stated in the title. I had a few naysayers before, but Dan kept his word. My camper was returned to me a few months ago and in good condition. So less
Nice.
than a year, I
Yeah.
believe, and in good condition. Dan took good care of it, thoroughly cleaned it before giving back. He and our father also resealed the roof on it once while it was in their care. Inside, it's no worse for wear than it was when I was living in it, only I got it back to smelling like pine cleaner. W
Oh
said.
no, I think he like the brother gave it back smelling like pine cleaner. Like, it
Oh,
smelled
yes,
good when
sorry.
he gave it back.
Only I got it back smelling like pine
Which
cleaner.
was nice.
So
That's
it's even
great. We
better.
love
Yes,
that.
this is what you should do in these scenarios. So there was some minor drama while Dan was living in my camper from a neighbor right behind them. Not quite sure it qualifies as a Karen, but she was close enough. She started yelling at them from over the fence about the camper and threatened to call the police. And listen, they have a long history with police showing up at houses they're in.
The police are intimately like aware of this family.
They're like, it's the Johnson.
It's the Johnsons.
With the camper-
Okay.
Okay.
Run
Okay.
away.
God dang it, Johnson, we got another one. So my brother and father went off on her and then explained Dan was living in the camper so his son could have a bedroom. Well, the neighbor still wasn't happy.
The neighbor? Who cares about the neighbor?
Dude, I also like,
Jeez.
why would the neighbor, like, what is it to them?
What is this?
You know-
I would not want to have anything to do with these neighbors.
Like, God.
Like if I were neighbors to OP, or OP's family, I'd
Yeah.
be like, I'm just gonna stay out of
I'm
it.
gonna leave
I'm
it alone.
moving.
Yeah. My father talked to her husband later, though, and he was bull mad at her. Then he apologized on her behalf, and said Dan was doing a good thing by giving up his room to his son. The neighbor's husband also congratulated Dan on kicking out ex-sister-in-law and said he was always afraid to mention it before. But she was a horrid woman. We can all agree on that now. So yeah, the neighbors aren't a problem anymore.
Okay, that was fixed pretty quickly.
Fixed pretty quickly, okay. Dan and our father managed to get some money together on the side and bought a slightly bigger camper and set it up in our parents' backyard. I love this is how the solution is just more camper.
More campers.
More campers. We needed my truck just to move it, but we got in there and it's basically the best Dan can do right now till his credit debts his ex piled up are paid
Ooh,
off.
I forgot about those.
He still has to pay off 70% of his ex's debt.
Oh,
I don't
and
know,
How
like-
do we pay it off? TikTok.
Guys,
What are you doing?
start a podcast. Listen,
Literally, just start a podcast about your life.
and guest on ours. We'll give you the boost. Like,
Literally, you're welcome.
please come on the show. He may be living in that camper for the next 10 years.
Oof.
And even then, he's got the future of his kids to plan for.
Yeah.
But it's preferable to how it was when he was married. His ex-wife certainly can't and won't contribute to college funds for the kids, except maybe for her affair baby.
That sucks.
Now the real baby.
Yeah.
You know, all the practice families in the rearview mirror at this point. Oh, also, Sophia Callan says the police are on speed dial now. So, Dan's camper is admittedly bigger than mine.
Whoa, we don't have to be jealous about that.
Or do we? It's newer, bigger, and it does have its own bathroom.
Oh, that's rough. You better ask to borrow it. Be like,
That's-
hey, Dan, remember when I let you borrow my camper van?
No, just leave it alone. It's gonna spiral into a whole new thing.
I'm finally going on a real camping trip,
Yeah.
and I want the best equipment
I want
possible.
the best the business can buy.
That one has its own bathroom. Mine does not, although Dan never really uses said bathroom. It's basically become a closet since the toilet and shower are so tiny.
Yeah, because he can use like the inside the house.
That's true. He can use inside the house. If he needs to take a leak or something, he just goes in the house. Dan and I had a running laugh about me being jealous that he's got a better hobo house. And we bantered like sarcastic gentlemen about it.
Their relationship is healing.
I mean, I think we might reach like
brother,
the-
which they like. This is the first time they've ever had this. Because even as kids, they hated each other.
even as kids.
Yeah.
Even as kids. He kitted out his camper with some better amenities, like a flat screen TV, complete with streaming, video games, and DVD. Big upgrade. He said it feels like his own place now, even though he's just in the backyard, and he's much happier now that he's divorced. Yeah, honestly, probably being the day-to-day being married to ex-sister-in-law,
Exhausting.
exhausting.
She's constantly roping him into her scheme. She's like, "We're pulling a heist on the bank today." He's like,
like,
"All
But
right,
we just did one last week.
come on." She's
And-
like, "I'm stealing the Mona Lisa."
And also, whenever she's like not pulling a heist to steal the Declaration of Independence,
She's cheating on him.
she's cheating on him. Whenever she's not cheating on him, she's probably exhaustively going about like, oh, everyone's doing this to me. Everyone's this to me.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my
on
God,
social
oh my God, oh my
media.
God. You
Being her
know,
social media influencer.
Exhausting.
yeah, God. So Dan tells me that one day he'll get a truck too,
Copycat.
just so he can move the camper on his own someday. But for now, he's sticking with his minivan for the sake of the kids. So his camper is sitting pretty where it is, and mine is back in my backyard where it belongs.
Woo.
Though it's not gone unused, I temporarily rented it to a cousin who moved into the area for work, which was the renting out situation we suggested from the beginning.
Yes.
So now OP, I feel like this is his peak financial.
Yeah.
He's renting out basically 3 rooms.
Yeah,
Paying off a mortgage.
He's probably making more money than his mortgage is now.
probably.
I would venture to guess. He said it was a huge chunk before, but I digress. And they were only in the camper for about a month before finding their own apartment.
So now he's helping other people who are kind of like in his situation. You know?
Exact, like it's full
We
circle.
love this.
What a guy. Other than that, it serves as a guest house when needed. Relatives come by to use it when in town, so as not to stay in a motel.
Duchess Cassandra said there's a Jecko,
What?
a John Echo.
Wait, I don't hear it, guys.
My nephew has come over to stay in it a few times for fun as well. His sisters don't really have an interest. That's prime boy activities.
Yeah.
Staying in a little
Let's go in
camper.
the camper van.
Dude, I would eat that up.
Also, the C story between him and his nephew is beautiful because his nephew used to hate him. Like, why won't you give me a room? And
He
now
was the one
has
that
a
kicked
room.
him, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Now he's grown into a man.
And his
Right.
mom like hit him, and then like now he's good. He's kind of cool.
That sentence just was poorly put together. His mom hit him and now he's good. Everything's great.
Guys, parenting, sometimes it works.
Guys.
I don't
Hey,
believe that.
listen, this is them two saying it, not me.
I
So
don't believe that. I don't
go
believe
crazy, you Clippers.
that. I'm very
Anyway.
against.
The camper is the closest he's ever been to camping. Oh, same here, sadly,
camping.
because I
Why
did.
is OP still not going camping?
He's probably busy living his life
busy.
or whatever. But same here, sadly, because I didn't buy that camper to camp, but to live. As for my parents, they've gotten therapy. My mother has gotten medicated for her mental problems. Yes. And fully
Nice.
acknowledges her terrible past mistakes as a parent with all the favoritism, as does my father. My father is still awkward around me, but he's been fairly active in his church and is working hard to rebuild the family reputation as best as he can. And Dan has cut back on drinking a lot, so he isn't so stressed out anymore. He's even taken up exercising. He's in pretty good shape now. He told me his ex-wife saw the picture he posted online after shredding 20 pounds and called him to compliment
Wait,
him.
like Crazy X?
Crazy
Yeah,
X.
yeah.
Crazy X. But
That's weird.
he didn't take the bait because he's a master.
Yeah, he's like, you're not hot enough for me to take the bait.
Maybe you should lose 20 pounds.
Oh. As for the holidays, My parents, brother, and nibblings, nieces and nephews, all came to my Christmas Eve party. We need to come up with a better name than nibblings.
No,
but
nibblings
I
is
digress.
the word.
That's the
too much.
colloquial
You
term
have
now.
to say
much.
it.
It's too
What's
much.
wrong with it, John?
It's just weird.
What's wrong?
It's just weird. It's just weird. Nibblings? Anyways, moving on. We had all of the nibblings come over to the Christmas Eve party last year, along with most of the other relatives who came the year prior. Christmas gate, I think. No problems at all, save for the fact that none of them could stay in the night in my spare rooms anymore since I rented them out, of course. Both of my tenants were away seeing their own families too. Things went swimmingly. Not only was ex-sister-in-law not invited, she wouldn't have been able to crash the party anyways because of my restraining order against her.
Oh.
Hooray. I mean, you never know with her, truly. She
What
might
about
just...
Nieflings?
Ethlings?
Niefling.
That's
Nibblings?
maybe
Nieflings.
better.
I like nibblings.
I don't know.
I like nibblings.
She also barely made any attempt to spend time with her other kids either. She only bothered to see them twice a month at best. She didn't even send them gifts for Christmas or birthdays since being outed as a cheater.
Because she broke.
I mean, they were literally her meal ticket to
Yeah.
just stay unemployed and
Yeah.
swipe
Oh, they're
her
gone.
husband's credit cards. And the kids were initially pretty upset about that, but now they just don't care. Ex-sister-in-law, I guess, decided she was going to try to live like she was single again, despite having a baby at home. And it didn't go well because life gave her one hell of a cheese slap.
Cheese slap.
It's Have you ever seen when people
yeah, get to
slap
slap
people
the
with
cheese
cheese?
with the babies. They
They'll
throw
put,
cheese on
like,
the
a-
babies, and the babies are like crying, like, ah! And then they get cheese slap, and they go.
I thought it was I've seen like videos
Dogs.
of like dogs.
Yeah, I've seen him do
You
it with
haven't
dogs.
seen any of the
No,
videos, John.
No. There's a very specific like style of video where it's like two gym bros and one of them will throw a piece of cheese as hard as they can against the other person's
Different.
face, and it slaps so loudly.
See,
Well,
I've
that's
seen
with tortillas.
tortillas.
You can send me a Coke.
Okay, I've seen tortillas too, but I swear I've seen it with cheese. I swear I've also seen it with cheese. but
Whatever, weird. Dude,
I digress.
my brother and I did it with wet lasagna noodles.
Well, if there's one thing we know, Riley always gets it wet. So that's
Yeah.
that's certified fact. Certified fact. Tell your nibblings. But guys, okay, we're at the cheese slap moment. This is another
Cheese slap.
curveball. On New Year's Eve, ex-sister-in-law went out to party like it was 1999, and she got pulled over by a cop on her way home. She was arrested for DUI, and her car was impounded.
Oh my god.
She called Dan while being arrested, begging him to come get her car to keep it from going to impound. He told her that he's not helping her and she could deal with it herself. Yes. Dan has drank and drove, so it was kind of a little hypocritical.
Okay, but he's learned.
But he's learned.
He's learned.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm not gonna.
She's like, I would never do that again.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna enable you by bailing you out of this scenario. Deal with your consequences. But this woman put him through so much. I don't blame him for rebuffing her. Some flying monkeys, which is like crazy people in your family. You know, the ones that like the ex-sister-in-law and that kind of thing. Of ex-sister-in-laws called Dan to berate him for being a terrible person. Pretty sure this was the same woman who was calling me a while back.
We
knew it.
finally
I
found
was
the
wondering where she
culprit.
Dan was having none of her crap and went off on her with a long tirade about his ex-wife's cheating, what happened in the divorce, and that he has no sympathy for his ex since she left him with mounds of credit card debt. And she does nothing for the kids anymore.
Nothing.
Boom. The flying monkeys, they didn't call back. They flew away.
Thank goodness.
We still don't know who she was, but Dan said she sounded like a religious nut. I love how like these like super religious nuts are actually like siding with evil people.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
crazy.
wild.
How are you
Anyways,
doing it?
ex-sister-in-law went to court and pled guilty for the DUI. Here we go. Stay seated. Buckle in.
This is what I said was going to happen.
Dan found this out because she called him claiming that because of the DUI, she wouldn't be seeing her kids anytime soon. She told him that she was sentenced to take a 6-month DUI class, in which time her license is suspended until completion. Why is she not in jail?
How does she keep getting away with these things?
Dude, which is the part that she was most upset about? You're getting off easy in my eyes.
Yeah.
I've heard of these classes before. They make you take regular and at random times urine tests. And when you finally get your license back, you have to have a camera and a breathalyzer installed in your car for a year.
Damn. No texting and driving.
Also, increased rates for the DUI on record, of course. An ex-sister-in-law has not been having a fun time, but no pity for her. I don't drink and drive. Sadly, that's all the info I have on ex-sister-in-law, as she's been keeping minimal contact with Dan for some time now. And eventually, she'll probably stop contacting him altogether unless absolutely necessary. I don't know anything else about sister-in-law's parents or her affair baby. Even Dan doesn't know, but I still do have a bit of info on someone else. Remember, ex-sister-in-law's affair partner, the bronze-tongued lout?
His return.
What does a lout mean, by the way?
I think it's just like, he just kind of a sucky guy.
He just sucks.
He's a lout. I don't know.
Lout. So remember him? Well, he made his social media public again, and he doesn't seem to acknowledge the existence of ex-sister-in-law or his child at all. Dan tried to message him and promptly got an immediate block. So this guy is just being a butt and acting like his crap don't stink. Whatever. His knocking up ex-sister-in-law got her out of the family anyways. So in a way, we're all thankful to that affair partner. That's everything I have, and hopefully it won't need to come back again unless my truck gets egged next Halloween. But we have some relevant
comments to finish this story off
with a response from OP and a fat one at that. So shall we dive right in?
Let's dive.
Let's do it. OP does have a pretty lengthy response in the comments, but wow.
Mother-in-law seems to be gone for good, maybe?
Mother-in-law? You mean sister-in-law?
Sister-in-law, sorry.
Yeah.
Sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law seems to be fading off.
Yeah, fading into the distance.
As much as she can be.
I still want to know who's calling, who's doing her dirty work.
She's got her flying monkeys.
It was, one of her friends.
I think she's about to get a house dropped on her.
And her little feet are going to shrivel up like a
kazoo.
I think this is the penultimate question. Maybe I'm using it wrong, but I don't care. Can we now forgive the parents and the brother?
I think they've done a lot of work. I wouldn't hold it against OP if he didn't want to forgive them, but I think he's allowing himself to give them a second chance because he's never really had that relationship with his parents.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. He wants that. Everyone, I feel like most people want a relationship with his family, with their family. And now he's getting that opportunity and he's like, you know what? I'm going to give them that chance and hopefully I'm not going to be proven wrong. I do not knock OP for wanting that.
And obviously there's a bit of complexity in it, but relationship doesn't have complexity, and it's kind of like I could see him being like, I just don't want to, it's so much work to have kind of keep them at an arm's length in a way. He loves the nibblings, the nieces and nephews. It's almost like it's like a burden for him almost to carry it. It's like maybe you still don't trust them, but
I think the thing is that it's like totally up to him. Like if if this story went, I never talk to my parents again, I would totally understand. But because he wants to, I'm like, yeah, I also get that. You want to forgive the people in your life when they try.
I think OP kind of wants it. Yeah, it's like, you know what, go for it.
I think that's kind of why he's been reaching out to them this whole time, even when they've wronged him so many times. He's like, okay, I talked to them. I said what I wanted to say. And now he's actually getting this kind of reciprocation from them.
And you know what? It really is so fair to have something where someone's so terrible for you. And they finally the satisfaction of them apologizing and truly acknowledging their actions and then proving it with their future actions.
Yes.
Moving forward.
That's when you actually.
So all three of us, are we happy with the rekindled relationship? Happy? Mm-hmm. Sophia, I'm happy. Riley?
Yeah, I'm happy. Parents put in a lot of work. I've seen a lot of people change after they go to church. Like they're terrible people, but then over time they become better people. This will be hard to forgive them. Because if you look back at their lives, you have to wake up every day and choose to forgive them, not to forget. I would be keeping an eye out.
Oh, yeah.
For narcissistic traits, because Holly, earlier we were talking about it. They might, when the grandchildren come around, they might rekindle this or something.
You definitely have to keep them accountable and keep an eye on them for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that doesn't mean that you can't let them in at all.
And hopefully Dan, curious about what Dan will turn into, because it seems like he's working out more. He's taking care of the kids. He's taking more, being more of a dad.
He's going to start mewing.
Divorced dad. He doesn't go down that road.
Ashley LeMay says Dan has been redeemed. Here's one theory for Dan.
Redeemed.
His parents were poisoning him and telling him he was the golden child. Mm-hmm. Transitions to his wife at 22 years old, barely, still in the house.
And now who is he without?
His whole life, he's had people heavily influencing him that you're like the golden person or whatever, right? Yeah. Finally, for the first time in his life, his parents aren't pushing him that way anymore. The ex-wife is out of the picture. It's like he's finally on his own. and he's finding the truth.
I think so.
In a way.
Yeah.
And maybe he possibly
that camper van has really helped him.
Yeah, right. that was his humbling, he's like, okay, I get to see life through OP's eyes, literally, like living in there. And maybe he always had the potential, but everyone just kind of poisoned him.
Yeah.
I don't fully believe that, but it's possible. But
Possible.
we're all happy and satisfied.
Yeah.
It might be ruined with his next comment, but we're gonna get into it. We're gonna dive right in. Looking to survive comments. I have one suggestion for you in your relationship with your parents. Never forgive and never forget.
Damn.
These kinds of parents are like addicts for validation and forgiveness. If you give them a slight indication that you are past all of your trauma, they will stop improving and go back to their old selves. So this actually really speaks to the conversation we were just having. I learned it the hard way from my own mother. To be blunt, based on all of your posts, I think your parents are still not 100% honest in their apologies. Your mother is intentionally overcorrecting and your father is undercorrecting, a common strategy to good cop, bad cop. And people don't do a 180 unless they had something traumatic happen to them.
To be fair, I mean, a lot of that was pretty traumatic.
Yeah, but I guess meaning like a near-death experience or something like that, which does make sense. Intentionally doing a 180 is nearly impossible to achieve since that's akin to brainwashing oneself. Can people change, Riley?
Oh, yeah.
I think people can change. I think it's also just holding them accountable if they do backslide.
Yeah. And like my experience, people have changed through the church too. Like I've had multiple family members that were like very different people than they are today.
Getting closer to the big guy.
Yeah.
And never let your parents forget what they did. There are some instances where bringing up the past is useful. It keeps people in line. It also keeps them at a distance so you are no longer valuable to them. All of this may seem very negative at first, but it creates boundaries that are essential in any relationship. Boundaries that your parents have cruelly crossed before. Our very own camper nomad, the one and only OP, responds. Oh, I have long since made it clear that I won't forget. Not sure if I've forgiven, but holding the grudge didn't do me any good either. And I made it clear that I likely would not be associating with them if it weren't for my siblings and Dan's apology. His felt the most sincere of all of them, if you can believe it. But learning to put his kids first made him a better man. I could also see that. That almost seems like
sense.
a turning point thing, right? And without his wife clouding it, he's like, I need to really be a father to these kids,
it's like there's no one here for them but me.
There's no one left. And even if deep down my parents were to want the old dynamic back, they could never get it because I won't stand for it anymore and they know it. I know they'll likely have to work for the rest of their lives to make up for what they did for me. But at least things are far better than ever with them now, and I'm not over constantly once a week, roughly. And with the ex-sister-in-law out of the picture, the family is so much happier as a whole. Not only was she a narcissistic drama queen, she was a leech that contributed nothing, and she knows it too. Right now, she likely wishes Dan had just forgave the infidelity and gone back to simping, but he isn't that kind of man anymore. And then we have a edit to this comment, I believe, which was like just a few months ago. So this is talking about, I think, the golden child, ugly duckling treatment. It's kind of a sore topic now for the family, but in going to therapy, it was mainly just the fact that Dan was younger. So my mother always saw him as the baby, and baby needed more. Her mental problems that are now diagnosed and medicated did not help at the time when she was not medicated. I won't speak on her medical stuff because she's asked me not to, and I respect that. But her acting crazy back then made my father do so as well. And before they all knew it, they'd fallen so deep into their lives centered around Dan and narcissism. So it became easy to make me the metaphorical punching bag to keep the family peace. I don't know. I just I cannot imagine a world where like any of us being in like Dan's dad's situation, for example, would let that happen.
No,
I'd be like, partner, you're being crazy. This poor kid, why are we giving this kid golden treatment? Why are we treating this kid like dirt?
Literally, I don't understand how you could watch that and not do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. But my father's the kind of person who hates apologizing. That is terrible.
Very prideful.
Yeah, God. So if he did something wrong, he'd stand by it and act like anyone who argued with him about it was wrong. That's why we moved hours away from the rest of the family. So he didn't have to apologize for being an idiot and terrible.
He just moved away. He ran away from his problems.
My father has changed significantly in the past year. He and I are still awkward around each other, and he's referred to himself as a terrible human being. Not only has he worked hard to improve the family as a whole, he's also been volunteering for garbage cleanup throughout the church. Did you ask him to take himself out? Got him. Hey. He made a couple new friends there as well. I'm not sure we'll ever have a decent father-son bond, but it's good enough for me that he acknowledges where he went wrong. My mother is habitually apologetic now, but is overall kind and not showing the behavior she used to. Also, the main focus these days is on my nibblings, nieces and nephews, and she's not shown favoritism to any of them, which that is good. Do not keep the family curse going.
Don't keep the drama.
Nor has Dana, my father. I admit I do relate to my nephew a little more, and he spent the night in my camper a few times, which I could see kind of like
the oldest. I think it's just like sometimes you just have the oldest child.
Or the oldest, and I think the other are daughters. So, you know, you kind of got like a, uncle, nephew. But
Sure.
That's totally fair. It's as long as you don't like let it show and steep in, to the other kids. We're all human. But my two nieces don't care for that, sleeping in the camper, and don't like my house much since I have tenants. But at my parents' house, I do my best to play with all my nieces and nephews. I even did the tea party thing with my nieces. Cute. Though we used actual tea.
Whoa.
And boy, do they like it packed with cane sugar. I'm more of a sweet and low guy.
Whoo! And that's the end.
That's the end.
Man, oh man. I probably have to go though.
Get out of here.
Well, I can like chat about it. No.
Get out of it. No, I'm kidding. Wow.
Man, oh man.
I think I've pretty much said all of what I said. I don't think I've changed.
No, I think this is the same. I think that keep an eye on your parents' behavior.
Yeah.
Play with your nibblings.
Yep. See, it just sounds crazy.
Every time Sophia uses it in a sentence, it doesn't work.
You play with my nibblings is crazy. Crazy. No, I refuse.
You did find your word.
I refuse.
You said something earlier that didn't sound right, Sophia.
Me?
Yeah, with
That's
nibblings.
What? I'm just a girl.
That one.
No, Sophia. You're not just a girl. You're just a princess.
Oh, thanks.
You're just a queen.
You're so right.
I'm just a queen.
Claps for Queen Sophia.
Stop.
Let's freaking go. But yeah, that shining winning smile. But yeah, I feel good.
I feel good in my heart.
I feel good in my heart.
Sometimes we read these stories, I don't feel good in my heart. Today, I feel good in my heart.
Today we feel good in our heart.
And what a day to feel good in my heart, you know?
What a circle, a full freaking circle of like boom to this, like valley to up.
What a journey. Also, shout out to Riley for finding this series.
Yeah, I didn't find this one. So.
Pocketing it away for a year.
Sure,
absolutely. Yeah. But while Sophia might be abandoning us, we are not abandoning you.
Nope, we're going to do one more, guys.
Because we're going to do one more story.
Nice.
But everyone say goodbye to your worm queen.
Bye. I'll tell you guys how this.
What are you guys' thoughts on this episode? I'd be super curious to if you want to write up like a little summary of how you feel, if it feels positive or nah, how you're feeling about it. I want to join an orchestra, even though I'm a stay-at-home mom. My husband forbid it. I smell misogyny. Ooh, nice work, Riley.
Orchestra.
I am a stay-at-home mom of 4 since I lost my job during COVID on maternal leave. I decided to temporarily leave my career as a web dev team lead, that's money, so that I can focus on the children and in the end, making our lives easier so we don't have to rush through the after-work grind. By the way, this comes from Shaggy Girl on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So staying at home with the kids was both extremely rewarding and extremely tiring. There's also very little appreciation other than thank you for supper or thank you for washing the clothes. Last year, for my mental health, I needed to have something for myself. And that's when I decided to take up playing cello.
Oh.
I've been more than loving it. It's a huge passion. I wake up in the morning wanting to practice, but of course, I only practice once my chores are done. I've joined a local online community group of cellists that have been wonderfully supportive. The leader of the group has invited me on many occasions to join their orchestra, which will require 3 to 4 hours one Saturday morning out of 2, located 33 kilometers away from where I live.
Ooh.
My husband was totally shocked at how far it was, so I tried finding another group closer to where I live, but I can't really find anything else.
Dang.
So this morning, I told my husband that I really wanted to join this orchestra. He got annoyed and said it was too far and that I would add thousands of meterage to our car.
YOLO.
That's a gross reason for not wanting your partner to do it. Maybe if it's like so really disruptive, it sounds like it's not, but the car thing, I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah, come on. That's what they're made for.
Oh. Then he got angry and said that he's disgusted by my unilateral decision to join, which it wasn't a unilateral decision. She literally went to you to talk about it. That I would abandon all my responsibilities like I do now when I practice daily. That it doesn't fit with my swimming courses and ski courses. I can make it fit. How can I just drop everything for myself? He sees OP as like a factory or like a machine, right? It's like wake up, feed kids, take kids school, clean home, pick up kids, make dinner, sleep,
dude,
wake up. Like,
I heard this radio host talk about his wife, which she's a stay-at-home mom, and he seemed a little bit annoyed that she wasn't going to the gym. And he was like, she has been doing the gym, or we've talked about it, and she's been going to the gym now, which is good, but I don't know how it's going to work out. And it feels like that. You have to be in shape to be a stay-at-home mom or be a stay-at-home wife, and you going out and doing this stuff decreases time with us because he's the one working all the time. So he probably likes to like spend his weekends with her.
Your conspiracy theory is that he wants her to spend that time like working out, or at least with her.
Hanging out with him while she's working out during the week. She's swimming and skiing to stay in shape.
Right.
And like on the weekends, he can't hang out with her because she's doing like cello stuff. It's not going to make you look good. It's not going to make you look younger.
Yeah, and it's one morning. That her activity isn't adding to it. Isn't a fitness. I see.
It's not a fitness thing, and it's taking away from time with them.
Double whammy of the misogynist husband. But Opie says, I know in my heart that I don't neglect my duties. I am the only one who cooks, cleans, and helps kids with the homework, deals with the kids all the time, organizes everything the kids need for their various courses, ski, swim, kung fu, etc., etc. Dude, this family is active. Honestly, respect. In the past, I even did the little chores that he was supposed to do himself when I was tired of waiting for him to do them. Never once did I complain. Did I approach it the wrong way? He said that he would have liked me to ask his opinion. Seems like that's what she did. Am I asking too much time for myself? I already practice on my own 1 to 2 hours almost daily. Introspectively, maybe I just need a break from my family to find myself. Shouldn't I be able to find that when I go back to work? Little side note, I told him I probably won't join because of his reaction. He's all happy now, yet I feel dejected. We have an update, but before we get into it.
That's weird.
Yeah, dude, it's just like I'm almost like the only legitimate argument that I think the husband could make is that he's worried that like, hey, and it's like he's already not upholding his whole end of the bargain. But if he's like, hey, I'm worried that you might not be able to get all of the things done that we've already agreed upon now, and that's a concern. But to that, I'd be like, she's like, I have a plan for doing it. Let me just do it and show you and prove to you. I'm going to be so, don't you want to bring happiness to your partner?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
He seems pretty controlling. He gets that. He has that power over her.
Yeah,
Since he's the one that's working. You're going to do this with the kids. You're going to do that. You're going to do this and that. This is outside of his realm. He's probably a little pissed.
It's Brittany Beach says, MSM, married single mother with controlling aspects. Who could have guessed? I've never heard that term before, married single mother, but we've seen that in a lot of cases, both ways. Yeah, it's just like, it's so frustrating and annoying, and it's like, do you really? I don't know. I just why do you want your partner to be happy? Yeah. I don't get it. It is so infuriating. But we do have an update. We do. So, first of all, I wanted to thank all of you who took the time to read my post, and all of you who replied with my concern. I never thought of seeking so much attention. Being the introverted person I am, I kind of felt uneasy, but I have to admit, in all honesty, it felt really good to be supported like this. I will add that although I do most of the housework, he does help, and when he does help, I thank him, and he mentions that at least he feels like he's contributing, which to me is almost him being like, see, I'm contributing. I'm doing it, babe. Disgusting.
Tell him.
Get out of my face. Come on. So, yesterday, I dropped a word to my husband, asking him to really think about what I'm asking, and that I thought his reaction was a bit excessive. Go off. Hey, sound off. Sound off. Later, he called me back to tell me that he was sorry that he reacted that way, and that it was a knee-jerk reaction. Love that jerk is censored. To what I said. He said there was no reason to stop me from going. Really? I mean,
what's this 180?
I'm at least liking to see this, okay? It's just that he finds that I've been lagging behind with my household tasks and that correlation is not causation, but he had the impression that my cello playing was a factor. Pausing it real quick. Maybe she's having a hard time keeping up because you're not holding up your end of the bargain, sir.
Yeah, she needs that time to like do her own thing.
And to Miss Silvertier's point, this is kind of what I was saying earlier, but I think said way better. I hate that she has to praise him for doing the bare minimum. Right? So it's like, he's like, well, at least I'm doing this. When it's like, dude, just like, and look, maybe this is just one of those cases where it's like, okay, we both need to like come back to the table again. Maybe the way we split it up before isn't the best way, right? Yeah. Let's think about what all we can do. It seems like, I'm very much guessing here, it seems like they have some disposable income. If I'm the husband, I'd be like, I took in my laundry just the other week, wash and folded, it's $20, right? Is there like a cheap, inexpensive way? It's like, hey, doing all of our laundry takes me hours, right? Can even the husband just drops it off, brings it back, pays for that. It's not like paying hundreds of dollars for a cleaner for the house and all the kids' mess and stuff like that. It's a cheap way to save her some time. They rearrange. The husband takes on a little bit more.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like that's
a good like,
at least try.
Yeah, like conversation, good middle ground.
Yeah. Like I think there's, and I think that him, I mean, the apology was good. You know, he's acknowledging what he's saying, but I think it'll probably feel OP, even if the setup they find they still have some problems with. If it's better and he's like, hey, let me put in some more effort, let me really try. Again, don't you want your partner to be happy?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Come on, dude.
So I told him that the kids are home all the time and that it's 5. Whoa, 4 kiddos plus 1 working husband against 1 when it comes to keeping the house clean. That's crazy. Also, listen, I ain't against a little child labor. Let's give him a broom.
Come on.
We got 4 little sweepers. That's what I'm seeing.
Easy. Dude, my mom does this. I started doing my laundry at 10. And 100%. If I didn't do my laundry, my room was dirty, she would put all my stuff in a trash bag and made me buy it back from her.
What?
Yeah. Said, okay, I'll clean it. One day, my room was dirty for a couple weeks, and she kept telling me, hey, clean it. Didn't. I come in one day, completely clean. I was scared shitless.
Dude.
Because I had to go through and like pick out what I wanted to buy back from her. And she wouldn't even like, I was like, hey, can I get these 2 shoes? She's like, yeah, $5 a piece. I had to get it for $5. I had to buy it $5 a piece.
$5 a piece? That's crazy kid money. That's crazy kid money. I remember one time I was, me and my boss's family, we had like, we were just hanging out at a beach and the boss's kid was like, hey, I'll give you $1 to punch a seagull. And I'm like, no. He's like, $5. I'm like, no. He's like, $10. I was like, no. He's like, okay. $20 to jump up and punch a seagull. And I was like, no. And he's just like, what's more than $20? Like, dude, that's crazy. Like we're just, that's like me going to you right now, Riley, and be like, if I gave you $10,000 to do X, would you do it? And you're like, no. And I'm like, tapped out.
Yeah.
Like what more?
I feel you on that one.
Yeah. To a 7-year-old, $20 is $10,000. Oh, but anyways, inflation. I digress.
Inflation.
The main floor is always clean. The washrooms are washed. I've been doing some decluttering here and there. I'm so not up to date with my laundry because, I'm exhausted. Again, try my idea. Just saying. Not to mention that it's all fine and dandy when we go camping, but who preps everything for camping?
Ooh.
Who's getting them little bean jet boils and, bean cups and the little things with all the silverware and
all the food.
The
ice, the firewood.
That's a lot.
Getting all the supplies together.
That's a lot. Riley knows. Talk about it.
I camp.
Then who cleans the tent, washes and drains the tarpaulin? Is that a tarp?
Sure.
Campers, you can yell at me in the comments, but I think it's a tarp, and I'm standing on that. Afterwards, does all the camping laundry? I think it's unrealistic for him to think I can do all of it without feeling overwhelmed. That cello playing has been my release as opposed to the cause of my lagging behind. It's what keeps me sane and prevents me from breaking down. and strangling him.
You might like that, though.
Oh.
You should try that.
He said there's no real reason for me not to join, but that in the end, I will be dumping whatever I do on Saturday morning on him, that he would have to do what I was supposed to do. But in my head, I know for sure he won't do anything until I get back anyways.
Come on, man.
We're about to talk about this.
Come on, man.
I told him that he could take this opportunity to play Civilization 6 with the kids without feeling guilty. Whatever he chooses, I'll support him. But I'm joining my orchestra smiley face. Stand on business. Standing on business.
You have to.
10 tippies down. Okay?
Free fit.
That's how we're doing it. Again, thank you all for reminding me of my value and who I am. Virtual hugs to all. We have another update, but me and Riley got to talk again.
You did the right thing. Husband has to step up.
Yeah, like it's just dude, imagine Riley and
Tell me. Go for it.
I truly, it is hard enough. Two of us, young lads,
Stallions.
keeping up with our own mess.
Yeah.
Could you imagine 4 children and a husband added in that mix, plus your own mess,
Yeah.
right? That is
Mess.
a lot of mess to
It's
clean
as
up.
if you and Naima moved in and
You're cleaning for the whole house.
you're cleaning for the whole house. Shoot,
That's
man.
great, guys. We split a cleaner. Well, we pay for it for Riley, but
Yeah. I feel like that's gonna change soon.
it's not.
Oh, thank God.
Well,
Well, keep keeping a mess then, man.
but we most of us and the company mostly actually pays for a cleaner, basically split between all of us, right? And that helps with the situation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Dude.
we need like the husband. The key thing is the husband was off to a good start, but still goes back to like, oh, anything you don't do, da da da. It's like you are not holding up your end of the bargain. The fact that OP said, I know I'm just gonna have to pick up after him anyways when he's gone, means that he's not doing his fair share, right? Now, that's totally not to say, look, if he's going out working all day, 100%, that's not to, there's no shame on that, right?
Mhm.
But there just needs to be a balance. Can he do some homework with the kids? Can he, like, that's good father,
Dude,
building time.
Saturday mornings are where I got really close with my grandpa and my great grandpa.
Yeah,
I woke up and we either cut firewood or went in the garden.
yeah.
Those were the best times of my life. I learned how to be like a hard worker during then. I think this would be a good time for the father to, have a little activity with the kids, do some character building.
Which is great. My only thing there is it seems like that will still leave OP with the same amount of chores.
I see.
And I think there needs to be some distribution of the weight. But again, also like I love the idea of like within reason, of course, getting the kids, like teaching the kids how to do laundry. What if like I was actually thinking about this the other day as I was making myself dinner. I was like, we should definitely have the kids like do they should clean up after dinner, put away all the dishes.
Yeah.
Like those little things.
That's what my mom made me do.
It's really good. And sometimes putting away the dishes as a kid doesn't carry over. Cut to Riley. But it is really good training. It is really good parenting and training, I think.
It's just the mornings, okay? I have to I cook and then I get into the morning meetings. And
Listen,
then I'm like,
I hear you. You know what? I leave out my almond milk all day, so I don't have much room to
But that
talk
hurts
either.
only you. It doesn't hurt anyone else.
But it's in everyone's way,
Not really.
That's still.
It's just sort of like, dang, I know in 3 hours he's going to put this back in the fridge and then drink it tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's what goes through my head every time.
They worry for me with my.
I do, bro.
Low key, my almond milk arguably spends more time unrefrigerated, but then see it warms. It's like down, and then right before it gets worse or too bad, I put it back in the fridge. Guys,
I don't like it.
Am I doing too much with my almond milk? Let me know in the comments.
You're like my great grandpa putting his mayonnaise out on the counter.
Ooh.
That's you. This is giving that activity.
Trauma. That's what I hear. But I'm getting into this next update. He had too many spoiled sandwiches. But Opie says, yes, I am happy to go. And if you knew me, you'd kind of know why. I'm very content with very little. I grew up with a broken family, almost always alone. So when I get something I really like, it's like Christmas with sprinkles for me. I'm also usually super positive and cheery, and I'm trying to coax that person out again after years of feeling less than. Oh, I was in therapy for almost 5 years, and it helped immensely. I had to stop for financial reasons and wish I could get back into it, but my celloing has been eating away at my savings. My kids are 14, 11, 9, and 5. They do chores before having electronics at all, but they are small chores. Okay, so here we go. They help me with laundry, and they cook their own breakfast and lunch, and they put away their mess with a bit of reminding. We're in the process of selecting which toys to keep, so they've been absorbed by it. And as a kid, I had to raise myself, so I kind of lost a bit of my childhood. I kind of want my kids to have fun memories of their summer. So I keep their chores to basic stuff, which also, that's the within reason part.
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. My mom makes my little brothers do the laundry.
Yeah.
Even though they're like too short to like actually get into the washer. Because like you have to like go. I don't know how they do it actually. I need to watch Ryder do it.
Stools.
Maybe. Yeah, but that will help. That will help.
I think so. I mean, with 4 kids in the house, it's constantly telling them to pick up after themselves or constantly playing middle woman between squabbling siblings. So they still have quite some stuff to deal with. Yes, I am aware that he is a bit egocentric. We have a dynamic that fosters this whole interaction. I need to put my needs first, and I thought I had it down last spring, but it looks like my self-doubt is creeping back. It's hard because I want to be attentive to his concerns and not brush them away. Thanks to y'all, I've snapped out of it and am asserting myself again. I'm looking forward to going back to work, but it's my son's 3rd year in high school, and apparently it will step up a notch. It's also my eldest daughter's entrance exams, so to some exclusive schools this September/October. So I want to be there for both of them. I'll see how it goes after the first semester. If all goes well, I will start looking for a job.
Oh, nice.
Here we
Okay.
go.
So you'll be an empty nester getting back into the work field.
Right? And
Like
say again, sorry.
I like it.
I like it too. And guys, whether you're working or home alone looking for some distractions, you can always tap our profile to join our lives at 3 p.m. PST every weekday, every work day, every day you work. They're in the background. Lots of people do it.
That's right.
They say it all the time in the comments, so join them. So, do I see that he's a bad husband? Oof, tough question, right? No, I didn't see it that way. I see we both have to work on this. I need to call him out when he's being an a-hole and controlling. He does have a caring side, like when he brings my iron pill in the morning because he knows I have to wait a whole hour before eating after I take them. It's so foreign to me to think that someone would be happy for me at their expense. Oh God. Maybe that's another issue I take up with my therapist when I see her again.
Facts.
Yeah, I think OP seems to be, she was like off the bandwagon of like prioritizing her needs. Now it seems like she's getting back on that bandwagon and just keep that truck moving forward.
Yeah.
Maybe also they're in a, again, I didn't really have much of a clue in the beginning of their financial status. It seems like maybe it's not in the best place. Possibly, again, very much like reading in between the lines here. We don't know.
Yeah.
I'm almost like use that money on laundry money until it's enough money to be therapy money. And then OP can, they can split laundry and OP can go back to therapy or something. I don't know. Trying to solve problems here. But ladies and gentlemen, my God, what an end. If you were in our members only stream, fantastic. But if you want to join our members only stream for stuff like this in the future, by the way, we read all the parts in the series in the one day. So you can click that join button if you want to do it. But Riley, I think that's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.